Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
First of all, let's pray and thanks unto our God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us consistent blessing, so we can attend in this beautiful meeting without any trouble and obstacle. Secondly, may salawat and salam always be given to our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness to the brightness, namely Islam religion. Thirdly, thank you very much to our honorable teacher, Mr. Rifki Subianto, Mr. Yudi Subianto, the founder of YEC Course, the director of YEC Course, and also his partner, Mr. Rifki and Mr. Yogi, who has given me time to speak in front of you all. So there is many people before me that just say like, thank you very much to Mr. Yogi, Mr. Yogi, Mr. Rifki,
Haji.
Mr. Aji. Without people knowing them. So I am going to describe our 3 tutors. So the first one is Mr. Yudi. So if you don't know, Mr. Yudi is our teacher and also director of YC, who has taught us English from the third grade and the second grade until our generation, the first grade. So Mr. Yudi has started his course from zero. From him when he was not know anything, he didn't know anything about English, and now he became a YouTuber, and now he became a English teacher and also a tutor and also the founder of YC Course. And if you don't know Mr. Rifki, he is Mr. Yudi's friend before Mr. Yudi created YC Course. So Mr. Rifki, if I'm not wrong, he was a bus driver, and then he got a lot of change with his occupation, like from the bus driver and then work at the PT Baygon, and then a tour guide, Legian tour guide, and also Mr. Yogi. Mr. Yogi, I think, is the kindest teacher I've ever met. So Mr. Yogi start from when he was at the YC course. He became a student, and Mr. Yudi taught him until now. He became his partner. So from student became his partner. So now, standing in front of you all, I would like to tell you guys about my speech by the title Music. So the first thing that I am sorry, I don't know why I'm sorry, but I'm sorry because I'm presenting this speech from talking about music. So if you don't know music, talking about music, I think it's one of the most public thing that can be found by each other of us. Like for example, when we were in the Indomaret or maybe Alfamart or maybe Carrefour Giant or anything. When we want to buy some food or maybe buying some ingredients or maybe buying something else, we usually hear a song or a song in there. And usually when we are at the mall, or at the cafe, usually it's so rare when you are at the cafe or you were at the mall without even listening to music in there. I think it's impossible, like 99% of the change. So, talking about music, I know, like, from all of us in here in this masjid must have listened. I think we don't have to be a munafik. We don't have to be a hypocrite people. Yeah, uh, because we in this place we must have listened music before. So I don't believe if you guys were still alim or never hear a music before. You must have listened music before. So yeah, the minimal when you're passing by the road, you hear a music like maybe a stage dadakan or maybe something, or the maximal is you are attending to a concert. So I don't know. So in my opinion, music isn't forbidden. Wait. I repeat my statement. Music isn't forbidden
Why?
because
I say.
uh, last week or maybe a few days ago, Mr. Yudi taught me that he knew from Habib Jufri that music isn't forbidden or allowed by the Formasa. Do you know the Formasa?
Yes.
If you don't know, you can search it. So because of Mr. Yudi and because of Habib Jufri, because of Mr. Yudi taught me about it and Habib Jufri taught to Mr. Yudi. So because of that, I can speak I can speak in front of you all talking about music bravely. So I don't know if there's one of you guys or maybe some of you guys that think that I'm wrong or maybe it's incorrect or maybe it's bit up or because everyone has a different opinion. Everyone has their own statement. See? Everyone has a different opinion. The third class has their own opinion. The second class either. The first class also. And the mushrif also has a different opinion. So I don't know if you think that I'm wrong, or maybe you think that Mr. Yudi is wrong, or maybe you think that Mr. Habib Jufri is incorrect. Bid'ah. If you say that, you have to search first and then talk later. So, in my opinion, music isn't forbidden. Because of that, I can speak in front of you all briefly. So, I think, I know there's some of us that think that I'm incorrect or maybe I'm wrong. But there is depends on their opinion, maybe Mushrif opinion or maybe some of you guys' opinion. But there's something that I want to tell you. If you think that I'm wrong, or if you want to scold me after this because you think that I'm wrong, you are to scold Mr. Yudi first. So, if you want to scold me, I repeat my statement. If you want to scold me, you are to scold Mr. Yudi first. And Mr. Yudi is going to say, over my dead body. occasion, in this change of standing in front of you guys. Uh, if you think that is wrong, it's fine. Or maybe you think that music is bid'ah, it's fine. But if you want to like talk or give an advice to someone, you are to be capable of doing it politely. Like for example, if you want to give an advice to Mr. Yudi or maybe someone else that is older than you or maybe bigger than you are to do it politely. Like, and now, if you want to do it politely, now I will give you a tutorial how to give an advice to someone, especially Mr. Yudi, politely. The first, if you want to give an advice or maybe talk to Mr. Yudi, or give an advice to Mr. Yudi politely, you are to face by Mr. Yudi. So this is Mr. Yudi and this is you. Without anyone seeing you or without anyone listening to you, listening you. And the second, if you want to give an advice to Mr. Yudi, you are to be capable of speaking English well. Because if you can't speak English well, if you have a bad score in grammar, you can't talk English with grammar well. You can't speak English with grammar, or maybe you can't speak English also. You can't give an advice to Mr. Yudi. Why? Because Mr. Yudi is our tutor. He is our honorable teacher. He taught us that in this area is English area, so we 200% must speak English. So if you want to give an advice to Mr. Yudi, you are to be capable of speaking English well. Like, so if you can't speak English well, how can you give an advice to Mr. Yudi if you can't speak English with grammar? Because of that, Mr. Yudi will give you an advice first. Mr. Yudi will give you an advice first with grammar. So Mr. Yudi will give you an advice first about grammar before you can speak, before you can give an advice about your opinion. So back to the main point. So there's many things that we learn English from, like for example from video games, or maybe watching videos, or maybe watching movies, or maybe watching what? Or maybe watching TikTok, or maybe listening to music. There's many things that we can that we learn from the many things before Mr. Yudi taught us about English. Like for example, when you were playing game and like for example like PUBG or ML or Apex, when you were playing those games and you oftenly hear like chicken dinner, savage, like like that, and because of that, you because of the games that you play, you often listen to that, and because of that, you can understand the meaning, what they're saying, what the game said, or you can get a new vocabulary from there. And either is music and watching videos, but that isn't enough. That isn't enough for you to study, for you to speak English. You can just like watching movies or maybe listening to videos, listening to a music or maybe watching videos. You are to study English, especially grammar also. But don't worry, because we have our teacher, Mr. Yudi, who is going to teach us about grammar first. And the second, Mr. Rifki, who is going to teach us how to pronounce vocabularies, how to pronounce vocab, or how to pronounce an English sentence. And we have our teacher, Mr. Yogi, who is going to teach us about how to speak in front of public, and going to give us about new vocabularies that we never had before, or yes, maybe that. So now I am going to correct one of the famous song. Now I'm going to correct one of the famous song with a grammar mistakes in it. So the title of the song is "Love Yourself" by Justin Bieber. So now I'm going to correct the sentence. So Justin Bieber said in his songs like this. Huh?